So tell me your name and your wife's name.
Okay, well, I'm Mark Brochet, class of 1975. This is my wife, Jarrell, and my youngest daughter, Isabel.
Okay.
We live in Alexandria, Louisiana.
Okay. And tell me your best memory that you have of high school.
To put it into one would be almost impossible because I have nothing but good memories from Orangeville High School. But one thing that really stands out, and I'm going to use this one because it involves a very popular teacher, Mr. Wayne Prowse, and Duncan Garrison. There was we had a big thing with Mr. Prowse about playing chess, and couldn't hardly anybody beat Mr. Prowse. He was really good. Duncan could beat him every now and then. So I was playing a game with Mr. Prowse, and I had got him down to a stalemate. And I had one move where I could have checked him, and I didn't see it, and Duncan did, and he could not tell me. So here we were, both of us wanting to beat Mr. Prowse so bad, and he couldn't tell me what to do it, and I wasn't that good. So it was a big laugh, but it was all in good fun.
That's pretty good.
Mr. Prowse was absolutely one of my favorite teachers.
Pretty good. Any other memories or comments or?
Well, it looked hard for her. Because,
yeah.
The distance and our age, for one thing.
Yeah.
But no, I just, to all of y'all, I have wonderful memories of this place.
Oh, good.
And I said this at Carlene Swenson's funeral.
Yeah.
And I'll say it to y'all. No matter where I hang my hat, Orangeville, Texas will always be on.
Oh, thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you, Ronnie.
And the name of your husband? My name is Benita Granger Eves. My husband is Charles Eves.
And let us know the best memory you have while in high school.
Well, the best memory I have is our basketball coach, Coach Parker. He drove a VW Volkswagen. And we had fifth period sports, basketball out at the gym. So we would get out there early. There were a few of us basketball girls. One of us would get in the VW. If it was standard, he'd always leave it unlocked. And we would move it. We would push it. There was some pushing, and like one time we moved it up against the gym where he couldn't get in on the driver's side door. He had to get on the other way. Then wait a little while, a few weeks, or then we'd do it again. We moved it out to the front of the old gym. So we were always doing that. If he ever knew, he never said anything, and we never got in trouble, But that's one of the things I remember, the pranking of Coach Parker, our basketball coach.
Very cute. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Oh, and one other thing, on band trips, we go to football games. One night we talked Dale Myers into seeing how many double bubble, how many pieces he could put in his mouth. And I think it ended up being like 30 something. Yes, on a band trip. That's lots of fun stuff. Pranking.
And now it's can you tell us the best memory you had while in high school?
A lot of memories, but I guess my favorite one was from sixth grade. I was being good. Me and Jesse Hewitt and Joel Furby. We all got in trouble by our teacher for doing something wrong. And the teacher, Mr. Punish, took me out the hall and he said, I'm not going to report you anymore. I'll just let your parents take care of it and get it. The other two did, but I didn't. That was a good one.
That is cute. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, it was a great pleasure. I'm going to Orangeville. I feel really like that because we love to and you need everybody. So,
Thank you very much. Can you tell us your name, sir?
No.
All right, and can you tell us the best memory that you had while in high school?
Well, playing basketball in the seventh grade, we won all our games that year. I don't have a whole lot to say.
Anything else about Orangefield?
It was a good school. That's why I'm still here.
That's right. Thank you so much. Introduce yourself and your spouse.
I'm Roger. I graduated in 1975. My lovely wife, Robin, of nearly 47 years. And one of my favorite stories is when the biology class went to Bloodborne had a chicken snug in an aquarium. One of the guys picked it up. Oh, man, looking at that thing went and all went all down the front of it. One of my funniest.
Very, very funny. Oh, there went your sign. Is there anything you'd like to add about high school or Orangefield?
What?
Is there anything you'd like to add about high school or Orangefield?
Best part of life.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Joellen Sykes Inman.
And can you tell us the best memory you had from high school?
The best memory that I have is when Mr. Warnick got mad at Becky Williams in our class. And he was so angry at her, he had a stapler in his hand. And when she started talking back to him, that stapler went flying across the room and hit Becky Williams. That's a great memory.
You're introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Rod Shepard, class 75. One of my high school memories was in the school. We had a teacher, Mr. Warney, and we was in Mr. Warney's class, and a lot of us kids would like act up just a little bit, you know. And so he would get excited and get upset, yell at us or whatever. So one day he was yelling and he had a eraser for the chalkboard on his podium. And he reached up and he hit the podium with it and it bounced and hit a girl. Her name was Becky Williams. And so we all said, oh my God, Mr. Warney hit Becky Williams with the eraser. All right, so that's so the other one was, we had another teacher. We had home and family living, which was mostly girls, but there was 4 of us guys in that class. It was myself, Ronnie Stewart, Harold Welch, and Steve Soul. So we had a outing to where we were going to Orange to go to a furniture store to go look at furniture just as students. So like a field trip. So we drove in Ronnie's little Volkswagen buggy. We drove to the thing, went to the furniture store, looked at it. All the girls were with the teacher. And they left before us. We told them before we left, hey, well, let's go across the street with some Winger Schnitzel. So let's go to the Winger Schnitzel and go over there and get us a little bite to eat or something, you know. So we go over there, they're in front of us. So we pulled in behind them. When they left, they pulled over and they stopped at the Sears store where they could see us. So we got our order, but when we pulled out further, they couldn't see us anymore. So we turned to the right, and you can go in behind Sears and all that and come back out. And we beat them back to the school, and they're sitting there, what? You know, and they come over. So that was a funny one.
I guess. Hi, I'm Paul Christian. This is my wife of 10 years, Julie. And God has blessed in our lives from high school on up. I guess the fondest memory among many would be Mr. Chandler's class. It was so informal. We were so competitive, though, and we learned so much. It's great to see everyone today after 50 years. I wish we had more of our teachers still with us, but I know we're blessed to have Mr. Fremont and Miss Halsey. And thanks for the opportunity to speak. I love to talk.
Thank
All right. Hi, I'm Duncan Garrison, class of 75. My wife Kathy and I are living out in West Texas now, out in a community called Haskell. And one of my favorite memories from high school was senior year. The band was playing the theme song from Hogan's Heroes. And for one of the pep rallies, I remember we started playing the the Hogan's Heroes song. Lisa O'Quinn was the drum major, and she was directing. And Mr. Prowse was dressed up like Fat Sergeant Clink, and the band director, Mr. Fling, was dressed up like Colonel Clink, and they came goose-stepping out from behind a curtain or something, and we were all laughing so hard it was difficult to keep playing. But that's one of my favorite memories from high school.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So I should probably let you know that I went through 7th grade at Orangeville. So 1st grade through 7th grade. Officially graduated. Well, I remember all the teachers. My science teacher, Mrs. Constant, the best science teacher I ever had. My inspiration. And I still have very good friends from all my time at Orangeville.
Wonderful. Oh, and can you just say my name is, introduce yourself?
And my name is Ronnie Owen.
Thank you.
Dennis W. Granger. I love playing football here. Football. I had more memories playing football than anything else. You know, playing the games. I mean, my senior year, we had a perfect score, 0-10. But I thought we were going to win every game. That's all I know. But it was fun. Hallelujah.
Thank you, sir. Chuck Anderson, class 75. Y'all can hear me on this thing? So I just want to say that the reason that Tony and my wife Tony and I came is because to the class reunion is because I wanted to come and out of a sense of duty, responsibility, to say to some people here, all of them really, how much I appreciate the way when I came to Orangeville, the way they treated me, which was very good and undeserving and graciously. It helped me. At the time that I came to Orangeville High School, they didn't know it, but I had just come out of a very troubled past. And so when I arrived, what I found was a very welcoming community. But as people have been saying since I've been here, what made me stick out when I came is that I had really long hair. And so I say everybody welcomed me, but there were actually a couple of people who did not welcome me. And they really didn't want me here, right? And so my first several months here, there was a couple of guys that were picking on me. For instance, when I would walk down the hallway, they would walk over, bump into me and try to knock me down. And so here's my story. There was someone here at Orangeville High School, I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Birch. Many of you who grew up around here, you may know him. But this kid said to me, look, he said, I can tell you how to get those people to stop picking on you. And I said, okay, what do I need to do? And he said, you're going to have to whoop them. I went, whoop them? I said, you mean you want me to go fight them? He said, yeah. He said, you're going to have to go fight them. He says, if you go fight them one time, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. You just stand up to them and it'll all be over. They won't mess with you again. And so I said, okay, let's do it. Who do I start with? Now, this is my sophomore year, so we didn't have cars. I didn't have a driver's license. We were walking everywhere. And he said to me, I know where one of those kids live. I know his house. Follow me. We'll walk down there, and then I'll stand off to the side. You go knock on this door and ask him to come to the door, which I did. So I knocked on this kid's door. I can't remember the guy's name, but I knocked on the door, and he answered the door. And he, of course, was quite surprised. And I said to him, I've come here today to whoop you. and I need you to step out into the road with me because I said, I don't. This picking on me business is going to stop today. So come on out. Let's just go to Fist. And he looked at me and he went, wait a minute. It doesn't have to come to this. He said, we weren't serious. We were just messing with you. And I went, well, I said, but it needs to stop. And he went, I promise you, it will never happen again. I said, are you sure? He said, never happened. I said, all right, it's a deal. So Furcher and I, we left. And true to this kid's word, that little group of people, he must have told them that I'd come by. But they never messed with me again. And then let me tell you one more story. And this has to do with Lydia Franks. Y'all know Lydia? Okay, that's okay. Everybody, she is deceased.
Okay.
All right, so a story about Lydia. And that was when I first came to Orangefield. I was not running with the best of crowds. Some people thought. And so I got into a little bit of trouble when I first came. Not a lot, but one evening, me and some friends were over at the basketball court out in front of Orange. I don't even know if it's still here, but there used to be a double basketball court in front of the high school. And we were hanging out, smoking cigarettes, out there. And I had nothing to do. But on the other court, the other basketball court, was some girls over there playing basketball. And one of them was Lydia Franks. And so I knew Lydia. She was in the band. I was in the band. I mean, she always treated me with a great deal of love and respect, I thought. And I found out later that Lydia and a small group of kids from First Baptist Church in Orangefield were actually praying for me in a little small group that they had there. Mark Foreman was the youth pastor at the time. He was praying for me that I would be saved. And so she had been interceding for William, so she's out there playing basketball with these girls. And I'm over on the other basketball court, just around doing what I probably shouldn't be doing. When the basketball that they had got away from us and rolled over to where we were seated. And it came right to me. And so I got that. I don't play basketball. In fact, when I do play basketball, I'm horrible. I can't play at all. But anyway, that basketball came to me, and I stopped, got the ball, and I threw it towards the basket on their side. And I just chunked it, and it stripped the basket. Okay, it was a miracle from God. I've never done it again, but it stripped the basket. Lydia, she ran over and got the ball, and then she ran over to me, and she said this to me. She said, Chuck Anderson, she said, someday God is going to do something great with your life. So I've never forgotten that. And she went back playing basketball. Well, okay, so what happened is from that night, within 6 months, I had given my life to him. I made a commitment to Jesus Christ. And went on. I've just retired after 40 years of ministry, so I've been a preacher for 40 years. I have wished, I don't know if Dana Franks is here, I have wished all these years that I could have the opportunity to say to the Franks family, Dana was best friends with my little brother when he was here at Orangefield this fall. I've never had an opportunity to say to that family how much I love and appreciate them and for what Lydia and the witness of that group. Because I really do believe that my life was turned around because of their intercessory appeals to the Lord. The Orangefield High School, my friends that I made while I was here for 2.5 years, that I needed to come to this place because it was really a good place for healing. And I thank you guys for that. I love y'all.
My name is Donnie Wilson. My favorite memory in high school is Garden of Bonfire. That was
My favorite memory was I was in a high school band. We had a contest on a Saturday, and our band teacher, John Fling, there was about 7 or 8 of us that stayed overnight on Friday, gave us a key to the band hall. That band hall key fit every door in the building. We went through the whole building, including the cafeteria here. And then we went to John Fling's house, and he had just bought a new car, and we wrapped it. So when he got up to come to school in the morning, the car was wrapped. So it was a good memory. So
That's awesome. What was the name?
Sam Cunningham.
Sam Cunningham. Awesome. Any other memories?
Lots, but not as definitive as that one. So, but yeah, there was lots of things that happened over the years. So yeah, that's the main one that comes to memory.
Donna Williams was Donna Ratcliffe. My favorite memory in high school was all of our times in the band, all of our trips, all of our marching trips, Friday nights, and all that. But one of my favorite memories is our senior year. All my children, the soap opera was hot and heavy at that time, and we had one person stay home every day to watch it. And we would call them from the payphone in the hall to get the latest on what happened that day. Well, Joel Kirby lied to us and told us that someone had died in a plane crash. Not a plane crash, a train crash. And we were all upset the whole weekend because Philip Brent died, and he really didn't. So Joel got us. We never asked him to do it again.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Hello, I'm Pamela Vaughn Schrader. My husband is Rick Schrader. My favorite memory is always going to Asheville with all of our friends, and had a great time. And later, when I married and had children, that's what I got every Easter. We go to Asheville almost every week.
Anything else?
No.
Yeah. Hey, Ronnie, it's Carrie. It's Sue. I just was going to say that the only memory I can think of is that I graduated earlier than everybody. I graduated December 17th of 74. Took off work to come back to meet y'all for graduation.
Okay, my name's Ronnie Stewart. We live in League City, but we're on the road most of the time somewhere near Tulsa or Ransom, Missouri.
Vicky Stewart.
It's my wife, Vicky Stewart. She's from Tulsa, Oklahoma. She'll let you know that. And so, one of my memories, I got 2 or 3, but the most one that comes to my mind is in 9th grade, sitting in the Alamo, and I was in the back row, and the windows were up because we had no air conditioning. So I wasn't paying attention to the teacher, which is not unusual. I was looking out the window. And when I looked out the window, I saw a bus that holds 50, 60 kids. They weren't on it, and nobody was in the bus. I saw it rolling slowly, and it was going to go down a hill real quick. So I jumped out the window, and as I went out the window, I could hear the teacher hollering at me, "Ronnie, get back in here." And Randy Moore jumped out behind me, and we both ran, and I hit the brake, and Randy put it in gear. The second one, say, this is what happens when you get old. You forget what the second one was. Oh, the second one was our English teacher named Kenneth Warney. I think his last name was. So Mr. Warney went out to the hallway and shut the door behind him. And so us being rascals started screaming and hollering and doing all kinds of things that was normal for kids. He came in, I could see he was mad. He slammed the door so hard, I thought the little piece of glass was going to crack. He got so mad, he says, I don't give a tinker's damn what you were talking about in here. Do not ever do that again when I'm out in the hallway. And then he paused, he said, you can tell your parents, I can say tinker's damn because all it is a dam that you put your finger in because it has a small leak. He said, so if you want to tell your parents, go ahead. It's okay.
Come on, Ronnie, you're part of this too.
Come on, Roger. This piece that had to be the great.
Okay, all right, say cheese, I'm gonna take a couple.
If you don't get a good at this one, we'll get one in the next 50 years.
How many of us are in
Okay,
this
y'all make a
picture?
silly face is what they said.
All right, silly faces, silly hands.
Or whatever.
Oh, peace, that's right.
Oh,
Everybody
there
do
you go. Okay.
All right.
How many are in the picture?
Thank everybody for coming. I mean, I know it's not easy. Some of you came from far out of town and traveled, plane, car, whatever. It took a bit to get here, so we definitely appreciate it because everybody's really happy to see everyone. So I want to thank you for that. I've got a few remarks here tonight, but I just want to come transparent. All of this was created with artificial intelligence. I've been told more than once that I don't have any real stuff anymore, so this is all artificial. You know, Chat GPT, Copilot, Deep Groove, whatever, Deep Doo-Doo, whatever's available. You know, I use them all to try to get this. I particularly want to thank Dr. Sean McAlpin. He's not here tonight, but he's the superintendent of schools, and they allowed us to have this here. I mean, isn't this crazy? Thank you. And also Brian Owsley, the director of operations. Some of you may know Brian, but to be able to come back to this place after 50 years is pretty amazing, and it's in awesome condition, I think. It looks like it did when we walked in here, if you guys remember, 54 years ago. Yeah. We were the freshman class that came and started in this school. So 54 years ago, we walked into this building, and it still looks good today, so we're happy to be here. I also want to thank the group that put this together, Ronnie Stewart, our fearless leader. He kind of kept us on track with organization. I'm going to call all the females by their maiden name because I just don't know what their other names are. Donna Ratcliffe and Benita Granger, and then Dusty was part of the committee, and Roger, and then I saw Sue at some meeting. I don't want to forget anybody, please. If I did, I apologize. But you know, it was a group effort, and we all got together and got this put together. And there were others like Peggy, that's the historian for Orangefield. She sent me a bunch of pictures. We also have some members of the faculty here that were teachers when we were here, and not sure if I saw everybody here. There's Miss Halsey.
She was here for the lunch.
She was here earlier, okay. Miss Halsey was here. Jan Davidson, just got to see Jan, taught English and history, and U.S. history, I think, in particular, and government, okay. Mr. Donner's not here, Parker. Jesse Fremont. Jesse and his wife Stephanie, they left already. Jesse taught science. He was very young when he started. He was just a little older than we were, I guess. I remember it was a lot of fun because science is a difficult subject for a kid, but he didn't just sit in the classroom and talk to us about science. We actually went outside, did experiments, things like that. That really kind of brought it to life for me anyway, so I appreciated that. I'd also like to thank some of the other classes. We have members from the classes of at least 72, 73, 74, and 76 here tonight, in addition to our class of 75. So I want to thank them for attending and joining in this celebration with us. I know there was a reunion earlier today for anybody, I guess, that's a graduate of Orangefield. And so some of you may have also gone to that.
All the old people were there.
All the old people. Well, there's no old people here, so that's the difference where they all were. You know?
Older than older.
Also want to just say, have a special moment for our classmates who are no longer with us. We had a class size of 84, I believe is what I saw as the total, and 12 members of the class are no longer with us. And so, if we would, let's just kind of have a moment of silence and kind of think about the good times that you shared with those class members, and let's just pay them a little respect for here a moment. Okay, I'd also like to ask, I know a few of our class members were members of the military. Who here in the class of 75 at least went and served time in the military? I know there's some, maybe Sam was in the Air Force he talked about. Mike Liston is not here, he's still active. Anyway, no, he's actually out, but he's a civilian working with the military operations. Some of you were in the military, weren't you? How about not members of the class of 75? Any others who were
Mark Brochet
in the
was in the
military?
Navy, but
Mark was in the Navy, that's
He was
right.
here for the luncheon. He didn't come
Okay.
to-
Well, certainly, for you that are here, we want to thank you for your service to our country, and particularly from the class of 75 of Orangefield High School. Also, don't want to forget about the people who traveled here from quite a distance. So, not everybody lives in Texas still. I don't know why, but some people have chosen to move away from Texas. Some that I know have traveled from the distance. Donnie Benson. Donnie, where'd you come from?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. All right. So we're going to have to get MapQuest out here if we're going to make this a contest, I guess. Chuck, you came from
Georgia.
Georgia? Okay, so that's probably not as far as North Carolina.
I come across the street.
I'm coming to that. Mark Brochet was here last night with us, and I guess today he came from Louisiana, but that was probably Shreveport or somewhere, so he didn't come too far. And Ronnie, I thought Ronnie lived in Colorado somewhere. It turns out he lives about an hour from me, so I came further than he did. So he's X'd off my list now. But anyway, thank you guys. I know it's a big effort to come, but I know everyone's glad to see you. So we want to thank you for showing up. Gosh, 50 years, I'm not even really sure what to say. I mean, you think about it. Gosh, we survived the 80s, the 90s, the Y2K. Anybody remember Y2K? It was crazy. But the 2000s, I mean, I don't know if you thought about this, but you guys were born in the mid-1900s. That sounds ancient almost when you say it that way.
Yeah, we are, Jay.
So, we're really especially appreciative that you're here. To me, the people that are here are the brave people, because no matter, whether your hair's turned gray or fallen out, or you had other physical changes that we all have, maybe how many times you've been arrested, nobody knows, but you should give yourself a round of applause just for showing up. And before I forget, I want to give you 3 words. I want everybody to write these down. Just remember these 3 words: fish, tabletop, and sunshine. So just kind of remember that. It's funny to be in a room with people that you've known for so long. I mean, Donna started in first grade with me, and so I've known Donna 62 years, I guess, right? So it's it's pretty crazy. Other than your family members who've known you all your life, it's really hard to hide anything, because everybody here knew you way back when. I'm sure I could be in a meeting with the Pope or something, and Roger McCrocker walks up, he's going to go, hey, 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 what's happening, Booger Mod? It's just funny how you just pick up right where you left off, even though it could have been as much as 50 years. like a lot of us, I remember I started in Mac Lewis Elementary. I brought some pictures with me here. There's some pictures of Mac Lewis. I don't have any pictures of Orangefield. I don't know what the Orangefield Elementary looked like, but Peggy, did you send me a picture? What happened, Peggy? I didn't see those, but I did get a picture of Mac Lewis. Gosh, we started there in first grade. Did anybody here go to kindergarten? Was there such a thing as kindergarten? Okay, I just thought maybe my parents didn't see any potential in me and didn't send me to kindergarten. I don't know that kindergarten existed, so, you know, in Mac Lewis, we started there in that school, which is now called Flying J Elementary. I remember walking into class the first day and I saw the prettiest girl I'd ever seen, Connie Morgan. Connie, I'm sorry, I just had to say that. But, I mean, I just couldn't believe. I just couldn't believe how pretty Connie was. You know, and a lot of people have kind of, I remember where I was when this happened kind of things in their heads, and I remember that was the year that JFK was assassinated. Yes. Am I right? 63, November, so we were in first grade. And what made that stick in my head was that, I remember we had who remembers their first grade teacher?
Miss Wilkinson.
So I don't remember what I had for breakfast, but I can remember my first grade teacher. I don't know why that is, but that's the way it works. Many of you know what I'm talking about. I had Miss Toll. Donna, were you in our class? Miss Toll, you in Miss Toll's class, or were you in the other class? Sue was, Connie was, obviously. Yeah, all remember our first grade teacher. Who taught first grade in Orangefield?
Miss Wilkinson.
Miss Vines.
Yes, Miss Vines.
So you remember who that was. I mean, it's crazy how you remember that, but I was in Miss Toll's class, and the reason I remember it is because we had a television in the room. She was watching, and I guess all the attention of the media and everything immediately turned to that. And
You come over the intercom, they announced it.
yeah, they announced it, and it was just odd that there was a TV in the classroom, so that's what stuck in my head. Yeah, it was a traumatic event.
I think they noticed that earlier, our parents.
Oh, black and white TV,
Yeah, when I went home.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't know what a color was.
It was a big screen.
So anyway, that's what stuck in my mind. Now, you know, as young kids are growing up through the elementary school, I liked sports, so I played sports, and many of you did. And we had a baseball team. Did anybody here remember playing baseball when they were in elementary school? I got a little picture of that I wanted to show as well. So there's the girls softball team and the boys team. Now, some of you, I can't believe how cute Karen Huffpower is in this picture. Look at her. Like Vivian was in that. I think, is this the one Vivian was in? Is Vivian gone already?
Yeah.
Yeah, these little girls played softball, and then I was on the baseball team. Now, how many of you, some of you have kids that play sport. You have kids that play youth sports, or maybe you have grandkids. I mean, it's a big deal today, right? They get uniforms. You go to the game, there's a public address announcer. I mean, I've got a 5-year-old playing coach pitch ball. They live stream the games. For I mean, these 5-year-olds walk up to the plate. They got a walk-up song, you know, Macho Man is playing. They got a $300 bat in their hand. We played sports. Guess where our field was? At the dump. Always at the dump. This wasn't a landfill, this was a dump. To call it a landfill would be like calling Burger King fine dining establishment. This was a dump. Parents would bring their trash and dump the trash over the left field fence, and then we clean the coons out of the dugout, and then we played. Now we had a team from Orangefield and a team from Mac Lewis. That was it. We'd play each other 4 or 5 times and call it a season. I mean, you can look at the picture. We didn't really have uniforms. Everybody's got some different shirt on. Most of us have a cardinal on the front. I remember my hat. I don't know if maybe I lost my hat. I don't know. But my mama got me a red hat and took a piece of felt and cut a C out. We were the Cardinals. She cut a C out and sewed it on there. And you look at that picture, if you can identify which one I was, there's a weird looking hat behind his head. And that's because that's how my hat got made. Now, compared to what kids look like today when they play, unbelievable. Well, in 7th grade, we got transported to McLewis. Now, to Orangefield. Before we did that, does anybody remember going on a field trip with the Orangefield kids?
Yep.
To McLewis?
6th grade.
Yeah, we got on a bus together, and I guess that was to try to start to get us to know each other, kind of thing. So that's when I first met Joellen, I guess. I remember Lydia was there, and then some of the other guys, Ronnie, and we went to, I don't know where we went. Where'd we go?
Went to the zoo.
Went to the zoo in Houston? Okay, yeah, it was a good trip. And I guess that was to try to get us to start to come together because the next year we were all be together here in the 7th grade. And we even had a couple of track meets, didn't we? Didn't they have some kind of track event where we do
Flag football.
with flag football too? Okay, yeah, we play against them. So it's just ways to kind of let us get to know each other before we got here. When I started thinking back, that kind of stuff came to mind for me. In McLewis, I picture McLewis, I forgot to say something. Paul lived right there on campus. Paul, remember you got your parents had a house right on the campus of McLewis. And then here as well. I didn't know that you had a house here. Okay, I didn't know about the house. I don't think school jobs come with a house anymore. And then we went to this place called the Alamo. You remember Jeff Foxworthy, this comedian? A few years back, you might be a redneck if. Well, I thought we could probably make our own series of jokes. You might be from Orangefield if you remember the Alamo and it ain't the one Davy Crockett defended.
This one had a hook on the side.
Well, yeah, you're right. I wonder why did they call it the Alamo? Well, look at these pictures side by side. They don't look exactly the same, but the same architecture firm might have designed them both.
Hey, we had our own slide in the back.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. We sure did. I remember that hook. You said something about that. The kids would, the older guys, the class of '73, the turds would grab us by the belt and hang us on that hook, and it was tall enough your feet didn't touch the ground. We were just stuck. Mike White, and David Morgan, and those guys would hang us on that hook by our belt, and we couldn't get out. And it was pretty embarrassing.
I'm not sure I didn't wear a belt.
You were the smart one, dude. I always knew that. You were the smart guy in the class. So we spent the junior high at the Alamo, and then of course whenever we got into high school as freshmen, this place opened, the new school, and we worked, had school here at back in McLewis and back in the Alamo, there was no such thing as air conditioning. Look at some of those old pictures.
That was it.
You'd open up those windows and have a fan, it would draw air in and blow it around the room. That was it. I can't believe about 1:30 that you just didn't doze off every day when it was about 92 degrees inside the And so we went through Orangefield, and that was 4 years of great times. The years we had dedicated instructors that helped us and cared about us. We had lots of activities to be in different things. Good classmates, teammates, a lot of sports teams. You were either in sports, you could have been in band, could have done UIL events, you could have been in dances back then. I don't know if they still even have school dances. We had plays, many of you I see that, I looked at some of the pictures of the senior, junior, and senior play we put on, you were in those. We had a number of clubs, and a lot of folks participated in clubs. So there was really something for everybody here at Orangefield. It was always a great place to go to school, and I always appreciated the education that I got here. All right, so I want to look at just a couple more things. When we graduate as seniors, we picked this class motto, right? Anybody read that lately? Let's go back and take a look at that. What do you think about that 50 years later? What does that sound like? How does it hit you today? Still a solid motto?
1970 called. They want their slogan.
When I was working, we tried to get people to come to work for us that were interested in teamwork and working together with people. That didn't sound like exactly a teamwork motto. So anyway, it was some psychoanalyst that came up with this. I mean, the 70s were a different decade. I mean, people had a little different attitude about things. It was so maybe for then it fit. Today, I don't know. Maybe it didn't last 50 years. All right, so Did we vote on that? Does anybody remember how that came about?
Hey, Roger did it.
Roger? Did we vote, Dustin?
I think so. I think there were 2 or 3 that we picked from, and that was the winner.
And somebody asked me about the class song. So the class song was Black Water by the Doobie Brothers. I think it was their first big hit. They were just kind of becoming really popular. Somebody said there was another class song that we didn't choose for some reason.
I thought there was, but I'm.
Rod, you were telling me that.
I was asking a couple people. I thought that we had.
Anybody remember there being an alternate?
Spiders and snakes.
Spiders and snakes? All right, well, I got a few pictures here of the time, so I don't know where all these exactly are from. Maybe you'll remember. That's obviously a National Honor Society picture. So we got folks, it looks like the class of 74 and 75. National Honor Society pictures.
That ain't right. I got me and Rod ain't in it.
I didn't find you in any of those pictures, Roger. I looked, but I didn't find you. Girls basketball, this looks like maybe class of 76 and 5 and 4. Some of the girls I recognize there. Kathleen, did she leave?
No,
she stayed. See, I told you that picture. What was going on there? It looked like a hot day practicing band. Probably a hot day. John McClellan, who's no longer with us. John had a personality like none other. And this, I think, is Vicki Young. Is that right? Vicki, okay. And there's Benita. And who's the other girl? Candace? Y'all were buddies in the band, I guess. There's your clarinet. And I have no idea what this picture was all about. A lot of us are in it. I'm not in it, but a lot of you are in it. What is it?
Chapel.
Chapel Club, okay. Were you in that one, Roger?
No, I'm Chapel Club.
You got kicked out of that one?
I got kicked out of that one. I can't hold it feet. I might be in it, a little ball.
And then there's this one last photo. I couldn't get away without showing this picture, and it's pretty disturbing. So you guys. I'd like to say that was a deep fake, but unfortunately I was there, so I saw Roger do that. Roger, that's a really disturbing smile you got on your face. As you're straddling Mike Lovett there.
First time I ever had to wear a bra there. I mean, hell, it's a little tight.
What's that?
Who's all the guys?
Well, that's Roger. This is a deep fake picture of me, so that's not really me. I would never do that. Mike Lovett is at the bottom left.
And John Tarver.
Also in John Tarver there on the right. So I guess that was during one of the powder puff football games, probably. You know, the girls played, the guys became the cheerleaders.
That's what you say it is.
You're right. I saw way too many pictures of me dressed up like a girl when I was I did not like the way that looked.
Hey, you fit in today. I mean, hell, they don't know why they want to be following the girl.
We were doing drag way before it was popular. All right, so what was going on in Roy? You know, it was 1975, graduation, and bam, welcome to the world. You know, we're kicked out into the world and time to start adulting, as they say. And the country was really in a bit of a mess, you know, kind of like it is now, I guess. You know, the president had just resigned.
Keith, can you go to the next picture?
That's my last one, I think.
Oh, shut up.
Is there one of you that you want to show? Or? But our president had resigned before we started the senior year. First, only president to ever resigned from office. The Vietnam War had slowed down, and then the fall of Saigon happened a few weeks before we graduated. There was a massive withdrawal from Vietnam, and you know the country was kind of a mess. And who was our president at that time? Does anybody remember who was president?
Gerald Ford.
Took over from Nixon. So I'm pretty glad you remember that. Who was vice president? Nelson, you were a government guy, weren't you? Yeah, Nelson Rockefeller was vice president. He didn't last much longer as a politician, but so 50 years, a lot has changed, and I'm not going to go through 50 years worth, obviously, but I did pick out a few things to kind of reflect on. You know, a lot of times when we listen to our grandkids talk, at least I do, I think I need a translator because I don't really understand some of the words that they use, and I have to ask them, what the heck does that mean? But you know, we were no different. We had some words like that. So what do you think of the words that we have? What words really stuck? I remember boogie. So we were boogieing back then. That's kind of, I still hear that song today, so that one stuck pretty well. Remember that? Things are copacetic. Everything was cool, right? Everything was going okay. It was copacetic. That didn't stick. That's too big of a word, I guess. I don't know, my kids wouldn't know what that meant. About dude. We've created that, you know. We invented dude, chick.
I got paddled for calling the principal dude.
Was that Paul's dad? Wow. I had no idea it had an alternate definition. All right, how about this one? This one didn't stick. This was far out. Groovy, dude. That one didn't catch. Groovy was earlier than us even, but that didn't last long either. Turkey. Good vibes. Yeah, you know, I hear kids talking about we've been vibing. That means something.
Vibing or viping?
Maybe I misunderstood. I hear them talk about vibing kind of means getting along together. We've been kind of enjoying each other's company, I suppose. Maybe I don't understand. Maybe that's one I need to translate. Out of sight.
Out of sight.
You remember saying that a few times? Out of sight. Psych. Do I still use that today? If you're tricking somebody, if you do some kind of trick, is that? Right on.
Right on, brother.
I don't think that was stuck either. Space cadet? That's what people like Miss Davis call us, right? A bunch of space cadets in my class.
Cadet, airhead, yeah, that's all good stuff.
How about to the max? Do this to the max? That didn't last either. Didn't hang on. How about this last one? This one I remember bread. Yeah, our money. Make me some bread. Crazy. Other things, and there was a poster up here I saw that had the class in '75 the top movie. So the top movie I remember was Jaws, right? That was a great movie. I still watch it today. Top songs, the Captain and Tennille. There were lots of other songs. It was kind of the time that the Doobie Brothers were coming around, and Earth, Wind and Fire, and you know, gosh, there were just a ton of good artists that were coming out. Top country song, Rhinestone Cowboy, and Glenn Campbell was getting big. The best top fast food chain, Mike, you remember what that was? Still around.
Sonic.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Now, I don't know how this survey decided who was the top restaurant or food chain, but they believe Taco Bell. Who remembers what the big toy, sensational toy of the season was in '75?
Cabbage Patch.
No, that was in the '80s. Pet rock. I mean, seriously. I mean, how many times do you tell somebody they're dumb as a rock? Yet our generation embraced it. We want to make this a pet. I don't get that, but that's what happened. So a lot of things have changed, and you know, when you get to be our age, and our parents have or had stories just like this, you say, well, I've just seen so much change in my life. Well, I believe we're qualified now to sit back and say the same thing, that I've seen a lot of change in my life. I mean, think about our dependence on computers and technology. I mean, left here and I wanted to study computers, so I went off to Lamar and did that, but I didn't know what one was. I just thought it sounded good. It sounded far out, I thought. Groovy. So, you know, fortunately for me, it worked out. I mean, I could have picked something like, you know, raising pet rocks or something there. Wouldn't have worked out so well. But we still depend on that today, and not only just computers, but the technology and technological changes those have brought. I mean, think about the things like the cell phones that most of us carry around in our pocket these days. Tremendous advantage they give us. Heck, I can remember at my house, I lived next door to Mike White. Some of you remember Mike from Class 73. We had a party line, so somebody called a house, I'd answer, Mike would answer, and we'd see which girl it was for which one of us. And if it wasn't for us, we'd have to hang up, and then they could continue conversation. You pick it back up and listen in too if you want. Things like the invention of the internet. Gosh, when I started, we worked on computers, but these two computers didn't talk to each other. But boy, when that started happening, it opened up all kinds of opportunities. Things like social media. If there was anything I'm glad that didn't happen when I was a kid and when I was raising my children, is social media. I feel for parents today that have to deal with their children and how they handle social media. It is, Roger, you just didn't have to worry about how many likes your Instagram got. And I'd hate to have some of you guys trolling my accounts back then. That would have been horrible. Think about shopping. How has shopping changed, You can buy stuff from the comfort of your couch. It's hardly worth getting up and going to the store sometimes anymore. I mean, and you can buy it now and pay later. You don't even have to have money. They say, dude, don't worry about money. We got you covered. You want those Spider-Man pajamas? I'll send them on to you. You're good for it. You'll pay me later, I'm sure. We had back when we did it, the stores were a little smarter. They had something called a layaway plan. Remember? My mom would go down to Wieners or Bell's, buy her school clothes in July and put it on layaway. And then she'd pay a little bit every month or every week, and then come August or September, we could then have school clothes. So they were a little bit smarter back then. This buy now, pay later. I'm not sure how that's working out. In the immediate delivery of things, I'm convinced that if I were in the right town like Austin or Houston, I could be in the bathroom, realize they had a need for paper products, get on my phone, order those paper products, and have them drop shipped before I actually need them. And shipping is that quick these days. And Donna, don't act like you don't take your phone in the bathroom. You know you do. Think about music and technology, how music has changed. I mean, when we were young, there were vinyl records, right? Vinyl records. Then came around 8-tracks. I mean, when I graduated, I was rocking an 8-track in my car, absolutely. Then cassettes. I don't even remember cassettes. CDs came out, then these little pods, iPods, another brand of music pods, and then now streaming. You don't even need to go buy music anymore. I mean, it just comes for free, as best I can tell, when you can stream it. So think about the changes that have. So we're qualified for living through some changes in times. I have a few pictures of things that I want to see if you guys remember any of these. Some of these are going to be a little weird. Just bear with me here. Does anybody have any of these in their cabinet? I mean, if you bought it once, you probably never did. You don't use it drop at a time. You never need to buy it again. I don't know how this company probably went out of business because they didn't sell the one to everybody. And it lasts forever. What's that for? Anybody know what that's for? Yeah, if you had a 45, and then your record player obviously needed something to make it line up in there. That was the little disc, the little insert, I guess, that went in there with the 45.
How about this thing?
Good chunk, good chunk.
Who in here was the remote control for their family? What Channel 6 News coming on? Get up and change the channel. But we set the TV on the floor in front of the TV and be ready to change the channel.
Move the antenna.
Go stand there and hold it. I'm getting good reception. Just stay right there. Wow, now you can't even find the buttons or the dials on a TV set. They're just hidden. Anybody remember this? We probably had one here in the bathroom. Paper towel. And we never got COVID from that. Come on. If you can't get COVID from that, you can't get it from anywhere. I mean, I don't know what happened to it just kept rolling around. You get the dirty towel again and you just keep wiping your hands. How did they wash these things?
It cleaned itself.
It's, one big roll from here to there. Who rolled it back up again when they were through? I don't know what happened or where these things came from. Who knows what that is? Would your grandkids know what that is?
Nah.
Wouldn't have a clue.
Hell, mine don't even know what a phone booth is.
that you had to be home in order for somebody to call you? All right, one last one. Anybody ever have a car like this?
That's a Volkswagen.
It's a car where the gas tank's in the back. You know, you drop the license plate down.
Oh, yeah.
What? That's a good idea. You don't have to remember or worry about which side of the pump you pull up to, right? I mean, I go to Buc-ee's and the bumps are all full, and I got to get lined up so my left-hand side is next to the pump so that I can pump gas. If I had one of these, I could pull up to the next available one and just pump it from either direction. So this was a great idea. I don't know why it went away. Anybody remember having a car like that? All right, so just think about the changes that we've seen, you know, and we've all grown older, you know, I certainly feel it. I had a couple of surprises to me about growing old. And I was going to write them down. The first one I can't remember. So maybe that's a clue. The other one was how much gas is involved. You make a noise every time you move. I'm worried about, this is designed for young people, I'm worried about the ventilation in this room. There just may not be enough.
Yeah, them all wild rooms, yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I'm getting old. So does anybody remember those 3 words that I told them whenever we started? So that was a test, Don, to see if they didn't know it. You know, when I go for a physical, that's just what they do for me. Is they ask me, they give me these words, and, you know, say I better remember them. So who remembers the word? What was the first word? Okay, what was the second word? Tabletop. Okay, what was the last one? You guys, you probably still got most of the markers. All right, well, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I appreciate it. You know, you guys got time to visit, take more pictures, whatever you'd like to do, but, you know, I appreciate y'all coming.
Hey, Keith.
Enjoy it.
There's still plenty of food, and I do have some to go, but
Yeah.
if anybody wants to take
Anita
it.
said there's food if you want to take some with you. We got plates, and she brought foil to cover them with, so you can bring food back home to your families. Please help yourself with that. And, you know, stay around and visit for a while.
Goes for desserts as well.
And desserts, okay. And then we'll have another reunion in, what, 10 more years? Roger.
Yeah, I want to thank you. You done a heck of a job, Kate.
The group that put this together worked together well. We didn't do anything, obviously we didn't do anything too fancy, but we just wanted a chance for everybody to get together and visit each other, and I think that was mission accomplished. So glad you're here. Glad to graduate.
I want to remind everybody that if you have pictures to upload, what was the Orangeville Class of 75 on Facebook? Yes.
Yeah, Donna you're managing some. Make sure everybody knows about that, Donna.
Yeah, it's Orangeville Class of 1975, and I'm the administrator of it, but anybody that is a member of it can approve someone. We just ask that if you're a spouse, either message me or let me know, because some of the people, we've had a lot of requests that were just spam. And if I don't recognize the name, I won't approve it, but you can message me through Facebook. But that's the best way, because when we put good news on there and we put sad news. And it's just a way to keep up with everybody.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I didn't know we'd lost some of these class members, and I was really sad to hear that until we started planning this. So,
within the last couple of years.
Wow.
But yeah, just that's the only thing that I can think of that we can do to keep everybody active and knowing what's going on.
Yeah, we had good turnout here. I mean, we had, like I said before, 84 class members, and something around 20-something registered, and even more than that came tonight. So that's 30 more than a third of the class members. And if you take out the ones that are no longer with us, the percentage is even higher than that. So we had a really good turnout, and I'm really happy all of you were here, and I'm really thrilled to see you all. Definitely have a safe trip home. Paul?
In 1975, we had a graduation ceremony in the old auditorium in the Alamo.
Because it rained.
Because it rained and we couldn't go to the stadium.
Yeah.
I had the first word with the invocation. Dusty had the last word with the benediction. he was first. I'm not saying I have to be loud.
That works for me.
But we've joked about somebody said in another 50 years. We know that's not going to happen unless medical breakthroughs or God's mercy. But I have 4 words: love God, love people.
Words to live by. All right, thank you, Paul. We're going to consider that your benediction.
That's our benediction.
All right, that one works. All right, well, again, thank everyone for being here, and take your time. We're here till 10 o'clock. I think they'll allow us to use the building, so you're welcome to hang around and visit, do whatever. So, again, glad you're here.
We did some good.